Emma's Journey of Heartache and Hope. My name is Emma, and I'm 28 years old. I live in Lincoln Park, a quiet neighborhood in Chicago, where tall trees sway gently in the breeze, small shops line the streets with their warm glow, and neighbors greet each other with familiar smiles. From the outside, my life looks perfect. A loving husband, a cozy apartment, and a steady job at a quaint bookstore. But beneath the surface, my heart carries a weight that no one can see, a sadness that lingers like a shadow. A year ago, I made a choice that changed everything. I married Leo, a 32-year-old man with a heart as kind as the morning sun. Leo is gentle, always wearing a smile that could light up the darkest room. He brings me flowers every Friday, their petals bright against the gray of my days. He cooks dinner when I'm too tired to move, his laughter filling the kitchen. He slips little notes into my lunch bag, each one calling me my sunshine. He kisses my forehead with such tenderness that it should make my heart soar, but it doesn't. I don't love him, and that truth is a knife in my chest. I married Leo not out of love, but out of pain. My ex-boyfriend Alex shattered my heart into 1,000 pieces, leaving me drowning in anger and sorrow. When Leo proposed, I said yes, desperate to escape the memories of Alex, believing that marriage might stitch my broken pieces back together. I hoped love would grow, like a seed planted in spring. But the seed never took root, and now I'm trapped in a life that feels like a lie. Every morning, I wake with a heaviness that presses against my ribs. I smile at Leo, but it's a mask hiding the emptiness inside. I say thank you for his gestures, but the words are hollow, echoing in the space where love should be. I'm living a life that doesn't belong to me, and the guilt is suffocating. Leo deserves a wife who adores him, who feels her heart race when he walks through the door. Instead, he has me, a woman who feels like a stranger in her own home. One warm evening, we sat on our balcony, the stars twinkling above like scattered diamonds. Leo turned to me, his eyes soft and hopeful. "Emma," he said, "I know you don't love me yet, but I believe you will. I'll wait. My love is strong enough for both of us." His words were a melody of hope, but they tore at my soul. Tears burned behind my eyes as I forced a nod, unable to speak. He was so full of faith, so certain that time would mend what was broken. But I had no faith left, only a deep, aching sadness that I was betraying him with every breath. My mother's voice echoes in my mind, her advice from years ago. "Emma, love can grow with time. Marriage is about kindness, respect, and patience." I clung to her words, trying to be patient, trying to believe that love could bloom. But every day, I felt more like a ghost, drifting through a life that wasn't mine. The bookstore, once my sanctuary, became a place where I hid from my thoughts, arranging books in silence while my heart screamed. One Friday, Leo planned a special dinner. He cooked my favorite, chicken pasta with garlic bread, lit candles that flickered like tiny stars, and played soft music that should have made my heart dance. He wore the blue shirt I once said I liked, his smile wide and warm. "This is for you, Emma," he said. "You're my everything." I managed a small smile, whispering, "Thank you." But inside, I was crumbling. The food tasted like ash, the music felt distant, and I was an actor in a play, reciting lines I didn't believe. I wanted to cry, to scream that I couldn't do this anymore, but I stayed silent, trapped by my own fear. After dinner, Leo took my hand. "Let's go for a walk," he said. We strolled to the small park near our apartment, where an old oak tree stood, its branches heavy with memories. It was there, a year ago, that Leo proposed, his eyes shining with dreams of forever. "Remember this place," he said, his voice soft. "I told you I'd love you forever." I looked at the tree, then at him, my heart pounding. I wanted to confess everything, to tell him I didn't love him, but the words stuck in my throat. He looked so happy, so full of love, and I felt like the worst person in the world. That night I lay awake, staring at the ceiling as tears slipped down my cheeks. I thought about my choices, my mistakes, my heart. Will I ever feel happy again? I whispered to the darkness. The question hung in the air, unanswered. The next morning, my best friend Nena called. "Emma, your voice sounds tired," she said. "Are you okay?" I wanted to lie, to say I was fine, but the truth spilled out instead. "I don't love Leo," I said, my voice breaking. "I married him to forget Alex, but I feel trapped. I'm sad every day." Nina was quiet for a moment, then said, "Maybe you need space, Emma. Time apart might help you understand your heart." I shook my head, though she couldn't see. "It's not time, Nana. My heart feels nothing for him." That evening, I tried to talk to Leo. "I need to tell you something," I began, my voice trembling. But he stopped me, his eyes pleading. "I know what you're going to say," he said. "Please don't give up on us yet, Emma. I still believe we can make this work." His hope was a weight I couldn't bear. I wanted to scream that I was drowning, but I nodded, retreating into silence once more. One Sunday, Leo asked a question that stopped my heart. "Emma, do you want to have a baby? I think it would bring us closer." The idea of bringing a child into this loveless marriage filled me with terror. I stared at my hands, my voice barely a whisper. "I'm not ready, Leo." He nodded, his face falling, but he didn't push. His kindness only deepened my guilt, like a wound that refused to heal. That night, I wrote in my journal, the words spilling out like tears. "I'm drowning in this marriage. Leo is a good man, but I can't be the wife he deserves. Sometimes I want to leave, but I'm scared. What will people think? Will they call me selfish? Will they say I didn't try hard enough?" The pages held my pain, my fear, my truth. One evening, I packed a small bag, determined to leave. I stood by the door, watching Leo sleep, his face peaceful, unaware of the storm in my heart. I wanted to be free, but the thought of hurting him stopped me. I dropped the bags and sank to the floor, crying silently until the morning light crept in. Leo woke and made coffee, kissing my cheek as he said, "Good morning, my love. I believe in us." His words shattered me. I wanted to beg him to stop hoping, but I couldn't. I walked to the window, staring at the street where life moved on. Dogs ran, children laughed, the sun shone. The world was alive, but I was frozen, trapped in a cage of my own making. Weeks passed, each day a repeat of the last. I went through the motions, breakfast, work, fake smiles for Leo, but I was exhausted, worn thin by the effort of pretending. One Saturday, Leo came home with movie tickets, his eyes bright. "Let's go out tonight, just you and me," he said. "I want to see you smile again." I agreed, not because I wanted to, but because I couldn't bear to say no. I wore a dress, put on lipstick, and tried to look happy. At the theater, Leo held my hand, laughing at the screen, glancing at me with hope. I forced a smile, but it felt like a lie. After the movie, he said, "That was fun, right?" I nodded, my voice soft. "Yes, it was nice." But inside I was cold, detached, a spectator in my own life. At home, Leo made tea, wrapping his arm around me on the couch. "I missed you, Emma," he whispered. I looked away, unable to respond. My silence was a wall between us, growing taller every day. The next morning, I met Nina at a cafe by the lake. The sky was gray, the wind sharp against my skin. "You don't look well," she said, her eyes full of worry. I poured out my heart again, the words heavy with despair. "I feel like I'm in a box with no door. I want to leave, but I'm scared. Everyone will hate me if I hurt Leo." Nina took my hand. "No one can live your life for you. Emma, you have to be honest. For Leo and for yourself." Her words were a lifeline, but fear still held me back. That night, Leo sat beside me by the window. "You've been so quiet," he said. "I feel like I'm losing you." I wanted to tell him the truth, but I lied instead. "I'm just tired," I said. "Work's been busy." He nodded, but the sadness in his eyes mirrored my own. The following week, Leo planned a weekend trip to Lake Geneva. "The fresh air will help," he said. I didn't want to go, but I said yes, too weak to refuse. The lake was serene, the trees vibrant, the sky a perfect blue, but my heart remained silent, untouched by the beauty. At the hotel, Leo gave me a necklace with a tiny heart pendant. "This is for you," he said. "My heart is yours." Tears welled in my eyes, not from joy, but from the unbearable weight of his love. "Thank you," I whispered, my voice breaking. Later, as he slept, I sat on the floor, staring at the necklace. Memories flooded back. Leo's kindness when Alex left, his laughter, his unwavering support. But I hadn't married him for love. I'd married him because I was broken, and now we were both paying the price. Back in Chicago, I began writing letters to myself, hidden in a notebook no one would see. "Emma, you're not a bad person," I wrote. "You made a mistake, but you didn't mean to hurt anyone. Be brave. Find your truth." Another letter read, "Leo is not your enemy. He's a good man, but he's not your home. You can't give him what he needs." Writing became my refuge, a place to unravel the knots in my heart. One day, Nana called. "You sound stronger," she said. I took a deep breath. "I'm thinking about telling Leo the truth. He deserves it." She smiled through the phone. "I'm proud of you." That evening I made tea and asked Leo to sit with me. My hands shook as I spoke. "Leo, I care about you. You're a good man, but I don't love you. I never did. I married you because I was hurting, but love never came." The words hung heavy in the air, raw and real. Leo was still, his face calm, but his eyes glistening. "I knew, Emma," he said softly. "I saw it in your eyes. I just didn't want to believe it." Tears streamed down my face. "I'm so sorry," I said. "I never wanted to hurt you." He nodded, his voice steady despite the pain. "I love you, Emma. But I can't be the only one trying. If your heart isn't here, I can't hold you back." We sat in silence, the kind that holds 1,000 unspoken words. There was no anger, no blame, just a shared sadness, heavy and real. That night I slept on the couch, staring at the wall. "I told the truth," I whispered. I finally told the truth. For the first time in months, I felt a flicker of relief, like a single star in a dark sky. The days that followed were quiet. Leo and I shared the apartment, but kept our distance, each of us grappling with the truth. He still made coffee, leaving a cup for me on the table, but the notes and smiles were gone. I threw myself into work at the bookstore, organizing shelves, helping customers, anything to keep my mind busy. But my thoughts always circled back to what came next. Nina visited me at the shop one afternoon, wrapping me in a warm hug. "How are you?" she asked. It's hard, I said, but I feel more honest now. She smiled. That's a start. What's next? I hesitated, then said, I think I need to leave. It's time. That evening I told Leo I wanted to move out. He wasn't surprised. Do you have a place to go? He asked. Yes, I said. Nina's guest room for now. He nodded, his voice soft. I'm not angry, Emma. I'm just sad. But maybe this is right. Tears stung my eyes. I never wanted to break your heart, I said. He gave a small smile. You didn't break it. I gave it to you freely, even if you couldn't keep it. I don't regret loving you. The next morning I packed a small bag. Clothes, a few books, nothing more. The apartment felt like a museum of memories, each item a reminder of our year together. Leo carried my bag to the door. If you ever need anything, call me, he said. I nodded, my throat tight. Thank you for everything, Leo. You were always good to me. He looked at me one last time. Take care, Emma. I walked out and Nana's car was waiting. I didn't look back. At Nana's apartment, I sat in the guest room and let the tears come. I cried for Leo, for the pain I'd caused, for the fear of what lay ahead. But beneath the sadness, there was a spark of hope, fragile but real. I had chosen honesty. I had taken a step toward myself. Weeks passed. I stayed with Nina, helping with chores, watching movies, finding comfort in her quiet presence. I began taking long walks by the lake, watching life unfold, dogs chasing balls, couples holding hands, the world breathing around me. One day, I saw a flyer for a creative writing class at the community center. Something stirred inside me, a whisper of curiosity. I signed up. The class was small, a circle of 8 strangers sharing stories. At first, I was nervous, my words clumsy on the page, but slowly I found my voice. I wrote about my pain, my guilt, my search for happiness. Each word felt like a brick being lifted from my chest. One evening, I wrote in my notebook, I lost love before I found it, but now I'm finding myself. The sentence made me smile, a real smile, warm and new. A few weeks later, Leo sent a message. Hi, Emma. I hope you're doing well. I'm taking a cooking class to stay busy. No pressure to reply, just wanted you to know I'm okay. I read it over and over, then typed, Hi, Leo. I'm glad you're okay. I'm in a writing class. It's helping me. Wishing you peace and happiness. It was a gentle goodbye, a bridge to closure. Months later, I moved into a small studio apartment near the bookstore. It was simple, but it was mine. I painted the walls light yellow, hung a picture of the lake, and placed flowers in the window. Every morning, I made coffee and sat by the window, watching the world wake up. I was lonely sometimes, but I was also free. The loneliness wasn't heavy. It was a space where I could grow. I thought of Leo often, hoping he'd find someone who loved him with the same open heart he gave me. One day, while cleaning, I found the heart necklace from the lake. I held it, memories flooding back. Then I placed it in a box with a note. Thank you for your kindness. I couldn't wear it, but I'll never forget it. I gave the box to Nina to return to Leo, a final act of gratitude. As the seasons changed, so did I. I smiled more, laughed with new friends from my writing class, felt the stirrings of joy. One night, I looked in the mirror and saw a woman with tired eyes, but a hopeful smile. It's not a perfect story, I whispered, but it's mine. To anyone feeling lost like I was, I want to say, you're not alone. Mistakes don't define you. It's okay to start again. Be honest, be brave. Your heart knows the way. Thank you for listening to my story. It's not a fairy tale, but it's real. And sometimes being real
is the bravest thing we can be.
Thanks for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe.